Hi everyone, welcome to the video lecture on calibration of instruments. So in today's lecture we will see the following contents: calibration of instruments. We will see how to calibrate an ammeter and a voltmeter, and the next topic will be production of torque methods. So how torque is produced and how do you measure torque. So first we would see the calibration of ammeter and voltmeter. So calibration is very important. Why? Because any instrument is subjected to have fault because it is human made. We cannot have an idle instrument. To find out whether the instrument is having fault or whether it is fault free, we need to calibrate an instrument. And in today's lecture we would see how we can calibrate an ammeter. So to calibrate an ammeter we have a standard resistance and it is connected to a potentiometer. So the voltage across the standard resistance is measured with the help of potentiometer and current through the standard resistance is calculated. Because we know according to Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So I is equal to V by R. So voltage we get from this potentiometer and R is the value of the standard resistance. So from that we can find out what is the current flowing through this ammeter. And we have another potentiometer with coarse adjustment and fine adjustment. So this potentiometer is used to have different readings of ammeter. So to get different readings of ammeter, we can vary this coarse adjustment and this fine adjustment of this potentiometer. So to find out different readings, we can vary this potentiometer, and to find out the actual current passing through this ammeter, we use this potentiometer. So this potentiometer will give the voltage value, and from the resistance and the voltage from the potentiometer we can find out what is the current, exact current flowing through this ammeter. So if the ammeter is having error, then the ammeter reading and the value that is calculated would be different. So that is shown in calibration curve. So the calibration curve is then plotted according to various scale readings adjusted by this potentiometer, and the ammeter reading and the calculated readings are then drawn to get the calibration curve. And next is calibration of voltmeter. So calibration of voltmeter is very essential because we know the supply voltage is not going to be constant. It is subjected to change. It is not stable. So to find out what is the change in the supply voltage, we need to calibrate voltmeter also. So for calibrating a voltmeter, we have two rheostats, with one with coarse adjustment, the other one with fine adjustment. So this coarse adjustment and fine adjustment is used to adjust the voltage according to the supply voltage. So using this two resistance, I adjust the potentiometer in such a way that it matches with my supply voltage. So for example, if the supply voltage is 15 volt, using this potentiometer, I would choose a particular slot here. So it would be, I would have a connection between 0 and 15. So if I have reading beyond 150 volts, then I will adjust this coarse adjustment and fine adjustment such a way that I can have a connection between this 150 volts and 0 volts. The voltmeter across the step down to a value suitable for the applications to a potentiometer with the help of volt ratio box. For accuracy, measure voltages near the maximum range of potentiometer as possible. So for accuracy, I measure voltages, I choose voltages which is having a maximum range. For example, if I have 1.6 volt, then I choose 15 volts. So I make a connection between 0 and 15. And if it is beyond 15 volt, then I would choose connection between 0 and 75. And any variations is noted in the voltmeter. So if the voltmeter reading and the potentiometer reading are different, then there is an error in the voltmeter. So the calibration curve plots the readings of the voltmeter and potentiometer. The potentiometer tells the true value of the voltage, and the voltmeter is the one which I need to calibrate. So for this I have referred the second textbook, Kalsi, Electronic Instrumentation and Measurements. And the second topic is production of torque methods. So how do we measure torque? So the basic torque equation is given by the formula deflecting torque is equal to NBL di. So we know for any instrument two different torques are essential, deflecting torque, and in order to maintain this deflecting torque we need a restoring torque or a controlling torque, and this deflecting torque is given by equation NBL di. So N is nothing but number of turns. So normally we use galvanometer to measure the current. So N is number of turns of the galvanometer, B is magnetic field of the galvanometer, L is the length of the wire in the galvanometer, D is the diameter of the wire in the galvanometer, and I is the current passing through the galvanometer. So N is the number of turns in the galvanometer, B is the magnetic field in the galvanometer, L is the length of the wire in the galvanometer, D is the diameter of the wire in the galvanometer, and I is the current flowing through the galvanometer. So N, B, L, D, all these are constants value. It is all constant, so I denote by G. So N, B, L, D is denoted by G, and I value I get it from the input supply, so current value will vary, so I keep the current as such. So TD, deflecting torque, is given as G into I, where G is a constant, and the restoring torque or controlling torque is given by equation K theta. So we take controlling torque is directly proportional to the angle of the pointer or deflection of the pointer. TC is directly proportional to theta. In order to eliminate this proportionality, I use a constant K theta. TC is equal to K theta. So for any instrument, the deflecting torque will be equal to controlling torque. Deflecting torque will be equal to controlling torque. Only then the instrument will be balanced. So by equating TD and TC, we know TD is equal to G into I and TC is equal to K theta. So by equating these two equations, I get GI is equal to K theta. So I would be equal to K by G theta. So this K by G is a constant. So I can write I is directly proportional to theta. So the current passing through the galvanometer is directly proportional to the deflection. So the deflection is directly proportional to the current passing through the meter to get a uniform scale for the instrument. So this particular topic is referred from A.K. Sahani textbook, Course in Electrical and Electronic Measurements and Instrumentation. Thank you.